During the winter, gardening, of course, is a little limited. However, there are some ways that you can garden and enjoy live plants indoors. And here with the dirt on caring for our houseplants, U of I Extension horticulture educator, Ryan Pancaw. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on today, Tim. And yeah, there's not a lot of gardening we can do this time of year, but houseplants are one of those things that we can do just about year round. And so I've got a huge collection of my own, and I just wanted to kind of share a few today that were a couple that are easy to care for, a couple that are a little more challenging, and just maybe a little different spin on some of the old classic houseplants we always see. So,
well, let's start with the easy ones because, as you know, I'm just not a plant guy. I'm not around long enough to care for them. I don't know that I have the patience or expertise. So let's start with something perhaps that maybe I wouldn't kill.
Sure, sure. Yeah, the first one I want to talk about is snake plant. And this would be a perfect one for you, Tim. It is really hard to kill this one. It has super easy care requirements. It doesn't take much light, next to no light this plant can survive in. Low soil moisture, so the biggest mistake you can make is probably watering this plant too much. And there's really low maintenance. It doesn't have a lot of issues with insects, disease, anything. So it's one of those plants I kind of recommend for the beginner. The variety you see here is called Laurenti, and it has that neat little yellow stripe down the edge of the leaf. So that's a little different from the common one that you see in the store a lot. But it's actually fairly easy to find if you look around a little bit, and just kind of looks a little neater.
It's funny you bring that up. I literally was just given a plant, and it looked kind of like that. It didn't have the yellow edge, but that's good news if that's what it is, because I probably won't kill it anytime soon. What's next on the list? It looks like a spider plant.
Yeah, spider plant. And this is a really common house plant too. And I think a lot of us know it from the little hangy down things that look like spiders. Well, this picture is a younger plant, so it doesn't quite have those little tendrils that hang down that kind of look like a spider. But I like this variety, Bonnie, because it has a little more curly, thicker, and interesting leaves as opposed to just the regular spider plant a lot of us see. Pretty easy to take care of, but does require a little more soil moisture, so a little more watering than a snake plant would, but also does well with pretty low light conditions. It probably needs a brighter room, but definitely not direct light. So that makes it kind of easy to place in your house someplace that it would like.
And we're getting increasingly difficult here in terms of as the plants go. So I don't think we're at difficult yet, but the next one on the list is a pencil plant.
Yeah, pencil cactus, actually.
Okay.
So it's a succulent. It's a cactus that's native across a wide swath of Africa and the Arabian Peninsula and India. And this particular variety is sticks on fire, which you see my sticks on fire at the left does not look as on fire as the other picture you have there. It looked pink like that when I got it. So the challenge with this plant is getting it enough light. It's going to need just absolute full sun, a bright sunny window. And so that makes it a little more tricky than the other two because you have to find the right spot in your house. If you don't find a sunny enough spot, you'll get a really green looking pencil cactus like this, which is still beautiful. And, there's the really pretty pink variety. It's a succulent, so it doesn't require, and just like the name cactus kind of implies, it doesn't require a lot of watering. So that, for one reason or another, that makes it a little easier to take care of than some of those plants that take a lot of moisture.
And apparently can get pretty big because it said 4 to 6 feet on that. So that's not a tiny plant. Last but not least on your list, and I don't know much about plants, but I do know that orchids are beautiful, but also very difficult to take care of. Tell me about that one.
Yeah. Orchids are one that we get a lot of questions about. And it's because they're just so common. You see them in the grocery market checkout lanes for sale, and they're always full of these beautiful blooms. Then the question that I get is a year later, why hasn't my orchid bloomed? So they're really beautiful plants, but they just take the exact right conditions to get them to rebloom. I have a lot of orchids that I keep alive, and they're doing okay, but they're not blooming. And some of that reason is that they just require a lot more humidity than a lot of our homes can provide. So greenhouse conditions are ideal for orchids, and they really, they do awesome in a greenhouse. We bring them home. Our homes, especially this time of year where my home is down around 30% relative humidity, that's not what an orchid wants. So kind of some of the recommendations with orchids are just moving it around your house to find that exact right spot. If you can find a place like maybe in a kitchen around a sink, we have that dancing lady orchid that you saw there is in my bathroom close to a shower where it gets a little extra humidity.
Makes
So
sense.
any place you can find with a little more humidity but Just always want to kind of remind folks that they take a little more advanced care, and don't be tempted by that pretty flower at the checkout lane if you're going to be disappointed later.
All right, from snake plants all the way to orchid, now you know what plant you need for your house depending on your level of ability to care for it. Ryan, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
All the details about those 4 house plants can be found on our website. Just go to CILiving.tv.